morning, everyone. And we've got a little warmer weather here. And if you are friends with me on Facebook, you'll have seen all the beautiful cherry blossoms and daffodils and tulips and everything else that's blooming here. Our whole street is pretty well pink with blossoms. So I know that that's probably helping for Buki as well in Southern California. You've already got your blossoms. You're warmer there most of the time anyway. Sorry, still facing snow and ice, Alice. I understand there was a big ice storm on the East Coast and tree branches falling, everything else. So I hope everybody is safe and at least has power. So I will understand if not that many people come from the East Coast because of all that ugly, ugly weather. Good morning from Los Angeles, Rokyo. Jeanette, really cold here and windy. Doris, good morning. Alice is here, fantastic. And Karen, good morning from Montana. And Stephanie, you are doing snow and ice as well. So sad to hear that. And Denise from a sunny UK, fantastic. I'm glad it's sunny. So we'll just wait here for a second or two. I'm just going to take a quick drink of water before we get going. I see more and more people are coming online now. That is absolutely fantastic. I know the first part we go through our slide decks and make sure that we have everything in order here. I'm scared to click on things that in case I make them advance. I've got so many windows open here this morning. It's just crazy. Jeanette says cold and windy. Cynthia, good morning from Kansas. I don't know if the storm went as far south as Kansas, not 100%. I know we're supposed to get up into a lot warmer, up the upper 60s, maybe 70 degrees eventually. So that's in the next week. So more to the seasonal normal around here in Vancouver. So good morning, everyone, as you are joining. Wow, I really got a cough this morning. Can't wait for summer. Me too, Jeanette. Absolutely. Cynthia, a couple of tornadoes. Oh, that sounds awful. During the night. Well, that's got to be the worst time during the night because you don't know whether they're coming towards you or not. If you can hide from, I don't know if you can hide from a tornado. I guess if you had like a cellar or something. The only experience I have with a tornado is simply watching, believe it or not, The Wizard of Oz, where they had to go into the cellar to avoid the winds. I can't see where it would be any different, but that's my only experience with it. I've had high winds here on the West Coast that really knocked over trees. The basement or the bathroom? Okay, the basement makes sense to me. Yeah, it's just you want to protect yourself and your family. All right, we have quite a few people here. Today, what we're doing is easy sublimation, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff and ideas, but we're going to practice doing a different kind of sublimation. Now, most people think with sublimation, you need a printer, but you actually do not. The printer's nice, but it's not always the best option. Just remember, if you are new here, we have several ways for you to connect with us. Of course, our Facebook group, we post in there every day, and Ledley's usually on here. She does all of our social media posting for us in our group. And our YouTube channel, Bette Makes Media, that's where we post a lot of different tips and tricks and projects as well. We try to do a lot of tips and tricks, and we post weekly. And Tika spends a lot of time posting onto YouTube and making sure that you have access to it as well. On Pinterest, we are Bette Maker Creations. Instagram, Bette Makes, and of course our blog is bettesmakes.com, and you will get our tips newsletter every Tuesday with a different article on a tip of something we've discovered during the week and think it's pretty well important for you. As I go through and look at other projects from other people, I'm always finding different tips. And of course, we have our Ko-fi shop as well. Now, as we get started, I hope you're going to stay to the end because we like to go through a lot of things. And some of them we do on the fly with your questions and try to answer them. But we also have a treat for you, and you're going to get this. It's our easy sublimation workbook. And we've done a lot of different things in here, different projects you can work on, the different methods all described. So we will give this out at the end. I don't want it to distract you as we're working through. So I will work through this program that way. What else? So if you're ready to just play along with us, I have one more thing I want to add here. And Tika, maybe you can put up the banner for the library, because I just want to make sure, and I will just show you what it is. Inside a resource library, I put flower for sublimation. That's what we're working on today, and that's inside the resource library. Now, if you are a member, there's a resource library put inside your hub. It is identical to this free one. So if you're in the free library, just go there, grab asset number 525, and it's just the download button that you're going to go through. As you can see, there is a download button there. Let me see if I can point this out to you. Just here on the download, you just click here and it will automatically download for you. It is a zip file. And what we're going to use today is the SVG portion of it. So if you can go to the library and perhaps grab that either now or later when you are going through the other parts and pieces of it. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint. If you are new, I'm Dr. Bette, and of course, Tika is here as well. Tika is our professional artist and professional multi-crafter. She is just absolutely amazing. And I'm a former university professor. Of course, I've taught art to kindergarten kids, so I've also taught all way through the school system as well as universities. So lots of training and teaching experience between the two of us. And of course, between the two of us, we've written tons of books. And believe it or not, these are little books, so we pretty well write a book a week and to give them out to you. So that's a lot of fun as well. And of course, Tika has written some fantasy novels, and I do believe they're still up on Amazon. I've got a lot of business books up there, a lot of older ones that I haven't renewed. And of course, we have our books and other things in our shop as well. But our goal here is not to talk about Tika and myself. We want to take you from what you know about sublimation now to what you can do with it a little later. Now, I just want in the comments here, how many people have used sublimation in some form? Just put a little yes inside the comments. I'll just take a second or two as there is a lag in the answer. Okay, Jeanette's never used it. Stephanie has. Carol has not. A couple of yeses. Yes, but no printer. Denise, yes. Cynthia, yes. Karen, yes. Okay, that is interesting. So there's still a few people that have not used it. So it's going to be really good. Rochelle has not either. Doris, yes. Alice, yes. Fantastic. Just gives me an idea of who has and hasn't. Now, converted an eco tank. Yes, Karen, that's the best way to do it. That's what I did with mine too. I bought one of those Epson, I think it's an ET2800. It had the regular ink in it. And of course, I converted it over to sublimation ink, and I've never looked back since. No, but I just got my printer and we'll be starting. All right, so this will give you a lot of good information in behind. Now I'm just going to skip over this one. I just want to let you know what's ahead just before we get into doing what we're doing. Today is easy sublimation. Next week Someone had asked, how do you use ephemera? Now, we all have ideas on how to use it. Tika and I are going to go through over the next few days and figure out some unique ways to use ephemera besides the regular, just glue it onto a card. It is way beyond that. So there are lots of different things you can use with it, how you cut it out, how you shape it, how you print it, how you use it. And that will be our using ephemera. On the 16th, we are going into layering it die cuts. Now, die cuts can be digital die cuts, or they can be regular ones that you put through a Sizzix or something similar in order to layer those. But we're going to have a lot of fun with that because that's pretty what I call open-ended as what we can do. On the 23rd, this is an interesting one. Using the open-ended shapes. I've shown you how to make your own open-ended shapes, but someone was asking, well, why would you bother? Well, we're going to find out then. On May 21st will be a little longer. We are going to introduce Inkscape. So if you have not used Inkscape at all, you're going to get a good lesson and introduction into that. We are only going to cover 3 or 4 things that you absolutely need to know in order to use Inkscape. May 28th is our introduction to Canva. And of course, June 4th is using stamps and die cut. So we have a lot to look forward to. But that's in the future. Today, we're more interested in the easy sublimation. And today, we are going into sublimation with a printer, infusible ink pens, infusible ink sheets, some sublimation markers, and of course, sublimation spray for cotton, and we'll look at wood and metal as well. And then I have another one. I'm going to bring you through a project using some of the things that we want here. Hey, Ruth, you made it. All right, I'm going to go over to Design Space now. And Tika, you might want to make this full screen. Now, in Design Space, we are just going to start a new project. And I'm just going for a blank canvas right now. And remember, going over to, and I just want to remind you in the browser over in the library, I'm going to use the flower for sublimation as you see here. That's number 525. And I'm just going to upload it because we're going to play a little bit here. Grab my uploads, and I do believe I have it here. And yours will come out. This is just called Patch Floral. I'm just going to bring that in. And it's pretty large, so let me just make this an 8-inch because that's the size we are going to be working with. Now, I'm just going to leave this on the screen for a moment. We also have a lot of different things here. Now, I didn't set this up. So remember, method number 1 for your sublimation is to take this. Easy enough. You just click on Make It. I'm not going to save it right now. And I'm going to go on the mat. And then I'm just going to confirm it. And of course, it's going to come into all different parts and pieces so that I can go ahead and cut this out or print it as I want to have it. Now, I'm just going to cancel this for a second. I needed it in both pieces. So let me just take an Alt over here. Let me just grab this one, and I'm just going to attach it. The biggest thing here is you want to send it out to print if you're using a printer. Now, I'm just using this as a basic design because method number 1 is so easy. Let me go back here to make it. I'm going to go on my mat. I'm going to confirm that is 12 by 24. And I'm going to move this to its own mat. Everything's the same color. Just go nice yellow here. Confirm. So that is the way you can go ahead and you can cut it out of your sublimation paper if you have it already colored, or a sublimation in those infusible sheets. So it's a good way to do that. But maybe you want to do it a little differently. Maybe you want to use your sublimation printer. So in order to do that, let me just cancel this once again. This is the one I attached. Okay, I am going to come up here and I'm going to flatten it. Now you'll notice that it comes into a print then cut. And I'm going to show you different ways to do flatten and in a tips video, because I don't always like the results of flatten. Sometimes I like to have it nice sharp edges, as you see here, with nice, edges on it. And I'm going to show you a different way to do that a little later. But now we have this one ready to cut. What I'm going to do is I'll group this one, because we're going to use this a little later. And let's just group it. And then I am going to hide it. Oh, hit the wrong one. Darn. Hide that one. All right, now we have this one, and it's whining and complaining because it wants us to adjust the size of it. It's too large. Change the print size. So we can auto resize it, but it doesn't make much of a difference. What I want to be able to do here, why did this come back on? Let me just click that away. For a printer, it's simple enough. You simply print it and have it cut. Now, if I turn this sideways, I might get a bit of a different way to cut it. Not sure, it doesn't want to. All it's going to do is print out on my Sublimation printer, and away we go, and then it cuts. So the print part is fairly easy. Okay, I'm going to bring this guy back. I'm going to take this. I'm going to unflatten it because I didn't want it flattened. All right, we look pretty good that way. So, basically, sublimation just means you want to have something adhering to a material. So one of the biggest things about sublimation is its versatility, whether you're customizing a polyester t-shirt, ceramic mugs, aluminum bookmarks, or wood signs. You kind of have a lot of opportunity, and there's lots of beginner-friendly alternatives like the Infusible ink pens and sheets, and of course there's some sprays. So the first thing, of course, you print it and you have it cut through your machine, and away you go. Now, another way to use your Sublimation printer, just want to let you know, is don't print it through Design Space, because you are restricted, except you can change the paper size. 8.5 by 11 is generally what we print on for those, but you can make longer ones with 11 by 17, and that's going to allow you to do that as well. So the only other things you're going to need, of course, is your heat press and your heat resistant tape, and butcher or parchment paper to cover it. I use quite often just some cardstock that has no color. So basically all you're doing with the printer is you design your artwork, you print your image, you prepare your blank, whatever that happens to be, apply the transfer, and then press it into place. And of course, then you have your design on the go. And of course, we're going to give you 3 little projects you can play around with. And of course, it's a t-shirt, a mouse pad, and a photo mug, but you can play around with those. Now, I want to talk about another method, and this is a little bit different. Okay, let me just move this off to the side for now. I want to grab this one. Actually, what I want to do is going to take this, and I'm going to make a duplicate copy of this one as well. If I don't duplicate things, I will definitely have a little issue with making a big mess. Let's just change its color so I'm not messing around too much. Okay, we have a nice little purple one here now. Just got to move some stuff on my desk. Now, this is with Infusible ink. Now, that really becomes a lot of fun, because now that I have a color, and I know this is a simple design, so I can grab this and just come up here to the pen, and now it will color this how I want it. Now, what I do with Infusible ink pens, I know there's lots of them. What I do is I generally take a black one and I have it draw on my material. You can draw it on cardstock, easy enough. And of course, once I have the outline printed on the paper, and you can have it cut as well. You can have it draw, then cut, however you want. You don't need to cut these when you're using Infusible ink, because I make the outline. And then from this outline, once it's printed on the paper, I take my Infusible pens and then, of course, color in. Now, another way you can do it, of course, is you can add lots of little blocks of color inside here and have it draw different designs inside. Use your pens on your Cricut. My little method is simply have it draw on the piece that you're going to use. So it can draw on laser copy paper. Now remember, it's laser copy. If you use the inkjet, it will absorb into the paper and you will not get the best result. Laser copy is meant for heat because a laser printer applies heat. And most people don't realize there's a difference between the inkjet paper and the laser paper. So you want it on laser paper. And as I said, you don't have to cut these out whatsoever because you can then color them in. And that becomes a lot of fun. Now, I always print out my outline and then I know exactly what I have. So I could just actually print this on the printer the way it is, or have my, of course, Cricut do the outline on a 12 by 12. So I can increase the size of what I want. So that is exactly what I do, is I do the outline and then I color it in with my Infusible ink pens. And of course, there's markers you can use for the same thing. Now with a laser paper, remember it's heat sensitive paper, it's a lot easier because then when you apply the heat from your design onto whatever you're using, it will come out beautifully. If you use the inkjet paper, and I'm just warning you, it will absorb into the paper and probably not come out the way you thought it should. It will work, but not quite the same way. And of course, you want to tape these things down on whatever you're doing. And of course, with the Infusible ink, you can hand draw on a tote bag. You can get those coasters. You can draw on those as well. And of course, you can make do-it-yourself bookmarks. All right, what I want to talk about next. So that's two methods. We have the printer and then we have this one with Infusible pens. Now you can have a way to fill these in if you want with Infusible ink pens, but I don't recommend it. The markers might work extremely well. Will the sub markers not fit in the pen slot? If they're made by Cricut, yes. If they are not made by Cricut, you can buy an adapter kit. Tika, I do believe we did buy an adapter kit for all of these. And if you just give me 1 second, I will just see what the brand name is on this. There, I have my kit underneath here. 1 second. I'm scared I'm going to drop things. There we go. There's my kit. And this is called Craverland. Now, Tika, you want to just put my face back on here for a sec? This is my adapter kit. It's called Craverland. I bought this off Amazon. I open it up inside. It has all these adapters that will fit different pens from different manufacturers. And it gives you a pen adapter little book. And in that book, it shows you how to remove it, but it tells you which pen set's going to fit with what. So those are really great. So you can use other markers and different things if they are not made. Now, the other thing is the markers quite often are not made by Cricut, but you can buy these markers. These ones are by Sizer. These are sublimation markers so that you can draw in on that as well. That's just to give you an idea. Well, it's a lot of adapters. Yes, they do. It's amazing. It covers most pens that I have. So my zebra pens will fit in here. I'm just going to look through the list. There are tons of different pens you can fit in. Bic fits in. Tombow, Amazon Basics, Sharpies fit in here. Crayola, markers. Papermate. Scoring stylus actually fits in there as well. They have one for that. And Pilot pens. And Sakura Jelly Roll pens also fit in there. So that's just to give you an example of what will fit in there. So you'll be able to grab that. Now that's off Amazon. Okay, let's go back to what we were doing. The next one we're looking at are, of course, the transfer sheets. And you've probably seen those. They come in a box, and they're called Cricut Infusible Ink Transfer Sheets, and they come in all kinds of different colors and different things. I'll just show you over here at the demo table. These are my Cricut transfer sheets. I think I have a couple of them here. You know, all kinds of different pieces. You can do this in the Joy as well, by the way. You're not restricted to doing what we're doing, but that gives you an idea of a couple of the transfer sheet things that we are doing. All right, back here to Design Space. Now for the transfer sheets, if you're doing this all in one, let me just grab that. If we're doing this all in one, I've got that one set up as a pen. Let me just delete that one. Now, if you're doing this all on transfer sheets, no big deal. What you're going to do, of course, is I'm going to hide this attached one here for now. Actually, I'll use the attached one, and I will get rid of this group one more time. This is attached. All right, let me just go over here to make. I've got it set up as print then cut. Okay, cancel. I'm going to detach it. It's not going to let me go back to what I was doing. Okay. I don't care about that one anymore. I'm going to delete it. All right. This one's just grouped. Let me take that copy. And I will hide that other group. Take the one group I'm going to play with. And of course, I can attach this one. I'm going to attach it so it's a little bit different. Let's go over to Make, Material, Confirm. It's going to come out as one piece. So I can now cut it out of one of those transfer sheets. And that works out really nicely because it's going to come up with a cool little design, maybe one design or two. But usually we have many colors that we want to use with it. So you want to cut out pieces and play with it. I'm just going to cancel this. Back out here. I'm going to detach this because I want to work on this one with you. Now, you want to be able to, of course, with the transfer sheets, be able to then take these and maybe use several different colors. So when you go to make it with the transfer sheet, I just come over here. It's going to come out in different pieces. So what I generally do is just come up here and let's just divide some things up. I'll put this one dead center if I can. So basically I'm cutting out 3" by 4" pieces all over here and just placing them on the mat. I can use all the different colors that I showed you here on the demo table. So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe pick up one from here, 5 different colors for the petals as they come through like this. And that will give you exactly what you want. So that is the way I would do the transfer sheets. If you don't want it all the same color, is cut out different pieces and then set them out on the mat. They're a lot of fun to use. The transfer sheets make it really, really easy to play with. Then, of course, you can make pattern drink coasters, geometric keychains, monogram tote bags, all kinds of things with it. So let's go back over here. I'm going to cancel this because we're still playing around here. Now I have another method, and this is using a sublimation spray. Now, a sublimation spray allows you to sublimate onto cotton items, which are typically not compatible with standard. Remember, we're using polyesters when we do the sublimation sheet, so on and so forth. But sometimes you want to have it on cotton. So there is a spray available on Amazon, and there's a couple of brands Sublifix or dye press. It doesn't matter which one it is. It's a sublimation spray. And of course, then you can use 100% cotton blank. So you can use t-shirts, pouches, anything that is 100% cotton. And then you can do the sublimation print that you want, and you will use your print through either the sublimation process of going through the printer, or you can outline it and color it on your laser paper, or you can use markers, or you can cut a pattern out somehow that you want to go on cotton, but you must spray that cotton first and then put your design down. That has a lot of options there. And of course, everything that you do with sublimation, you want to make sure the area is clean with a lint roller. But that just gives you some more things that you can do, is using that spray on cotton. Now, there's so many different things that you can do with that cotton. I've got a couple of ideas here for you. So you can maybe personalize a baby onesie. Just spray on those beautiful cotton things for the onesies, not having the polyester inside. And you could do a quote on a t-shirt that you've handwritten, but on a cotton t-shirt. And then, of course, there's a lot of different things like pencil pouches and all those types of things that will work well with that spray. Now, you can also do sublimation on wood and metal, and it requires a pre-treated or poly-coated blank. And it gives you nice, vivid, permanent, and perfect for home decor and keepsakes. But you usually have to buy the blanks that are ready for you. And I know Cricut has some coasters, but you can also get other materials from other companies that are sublimation blanks that will adhere to it. Now, one thing I must say about the metal or wood blanks, there is a spray just developed that will allow you to spray that surface and sublimate onto that as well. So you can use not only the spray for the cotton, but you can come up with the wood and metal. But the one thing with wood and metal blanks, of course, you want to have a blank that's going to work. On cotton, you can also do DTF transfers. Yes, there are packages of papers that you can buy that are specifically for it. I used to buy them at Michael's so that I would print on this special paper, and of course it would sublimate in for me as well. So there are those as well. Thank you, Alice, for pointing that out. But once you're using wood or metal, remember you want to use like a microfiber cloth to clean the area before you're going to do it. And of course, wood, you want to sublimate between 385 and 400 degrees for 60 to 90 seconds, depending on how that's going to work for you. And for metal, this is where it gets really hot with your heat press. It's still 400 degrees, but 45 to 60 seconds. So you have to let it absolutely cool before you take it off. On wood and metal, you can also sublimate it using laminating film. Oh, I never knew that. Thank you for telling us that. So, of course, you could create things like metal bookmarks, sublimated wood signs, photo ornaments. They all come into mind when you're going to do that. When you use infusible ink paper, do you have to use polyester? You can use cotton. Sublimation paper will not make a difference because sublimation paper is meant to go into the polyester. So you would still need a spray even if you had the sublimation paper. I hope that helps. So infusible ink paper. Yeah, they call it sublimation paper. So I have another little method for you as well. And of course, that's sublimating mugs and tumblers. And of course, using the sublimation transfer paper, perfect way to do it. You can draw on the mug directly with your markers and pens, give a nice effect, but you still must cover it over with some kind of protection in order to apply the heat to those. So sublimation mugs or tumbler blanks are perfect. They're treated to absorb that ink, so it absorbs into the ceramic. You can try it without, but you know, you're going to have a few problems here and there, but you can give it a try. Did you use a hack on that blue shirt? I'm surprised colors showed that much. Yes, I did, and I'm going to show you how to do it, Carrie. So, of course, heat-resistant tape is all part and parcel of all of that. And, of course, with your mugs, you can do all kinds of things with mugs. Now, I want to show you one other trick that I did not put in the manual, and you're going to absolutely love this. Got my first one here, and I'm going to undo this one. I think this one is not, that's just a group. I am going to flatten this. No, I'm going to attach this one, make it a little easier on myself. This one I'm going to leave alone, but I want it on a different mat. And I'm going to do it in purple. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. This is sort of a hack on how you can get those sublimations on a dark material to show through. Now, I used a glitter on this one, and I just want to show you what we're going to do here. I'm going to click on Make here. We're going on the mat and confirm. Now, I've got this one. I am going to cut this out of a glitter iron-on that Cricut provides. Now, I only had one that was sort of a dark sparkly, so I'm going to pick that to cut this one. For this, what I did was I used those transfer papers that I showed you, and I simply just divided this up and cut them out of, you can place yours any which way you want, just as long as you put them on the mat, 3 by 4 inch pieces. So I cut out 5 3 by 4 inch pieces. And trust me, when you are cutting that transfer paper, I used the cutter. It is hard to cut because it's so curled all the time. So I just cut out different parts and pieces of this. So I have 5 different ink transfer papers that I cut this from. And then on this one, I cut it out of an HTV glitter. Then I'm going to show you how to put this whole thing together because I had a lot of fun with it. I have this little hack and I could hardly wait to show anybody to do that. They also have sub stamp pads that you can use with your stamps as a line of markers and paints that can be used. Oh, cool. I'm going to have to find those paints. All right, so we're just going to continue here. And of course, I have mine all set up. What I want to do is take you over to the demo table because I've already cut all of mine out. And you were worried about this hack. Well, I'm going to show you in a minute. Let me just get rid of this extra stuff off my desk. Now, this is Infusible. I'll just grab this off of here. And this was placed on top of this. So you can see it came out with a beautiful little design. And it shows right through on a dark material. So I'm just going to move this off to the side. That's my shirt. Oh, by the way, Prism Studio just came out with this incredible ruler. It starts right at 0 and it ends right at 14. There's no extra little piece in the end. What an accurate measurement. So that's prismstudio.ca. I'll talk about that a little bit, but I have used that quite a bit. And then they came up with this cool little book that you can do sketches in as well, and I've been using that. Now, but just before we start working on this piece, these are some that I had done on sublimation paper. Now, the colors don't look that vibrant, but you really have to make sure you have good heat for these, and you have to make sure, this is from a project I had done before on a pillowcase, and they work really well, but that pillowcase had to be a lot of polyester in order for this to work. Unfortunately, I don't have any spray left over here, so I can't show you that piece of it. All right, I have all of these wonderful little pieces that I've cut out of the different Infusible ink paper. I'm just going to move those over to the side. Got 5 of them all ready to go. Now here's a good use for an old cover off my mat because this was sticky. I didn't know how I was going to be able to deal with it, but now I was able to put it on the old mat. And then I can just peel it right off, and I have my piece all ready to go, and I didn't stick to anything. So this is out of a glitter. As I said, it was a darker glitter. This is an iron-on that I used, and I'm going to show you, we're going to iron this on first, and then we're going to iron on the other pieces. So since I am doing the glitter iron-on, I know you can't see my see, I've got the temperature here, and for the glitter iron-on, I want 320. Temperature. Okay, 320. Sorry, it's just taking a second. 320, and I want it on for 15 seconds. I know you can see my arms here, so 15 seconds. Okay, it's just going to heat up. And while that's heating up, what I'm going to do is talk about this process. This is going on a darker shirt, and I had this other shirt all ready to go. Now this shirt, of course, because it has a different makeup, this is a Tilly shirt, and it's made in Cambodia. Oh, interesting. But it has a lot of cotton in it, probably more than I would generally use. So I wanted to have a way to get the Infusible on it and give a nice design. So I have a little hack here. So what we're going to do, of course, I'm just going to put the shirt on here. Let me just tuck it under here so that I'm not going to move it. Small room here. Now I will have to wait for this to heat up for a second. It should be hot enough for me to come through here and just give it a good little bit of iron. My cord is getting everywhere. There we go. Just want a nice flat surface here. So while it's heating up, there, nice flat surface. So of course for this one, this is really easy to do. I'm just going to place it. Now I have a general idea. I want the flower up. And I'm just eyeballing it right now. I should be measuring it. And of course I have a piece of butcher paper that is going to cover it. And what I like to do is put, as I'm sitting here, this is the bottom of where my design is. I'm going to be able to do the iron on like this because then I can bring it into place. Now this thing's taking a minute or two to heat up. What the cool part about this is, once I have this ironed on, we're going to take these Infusible ink sheets. Now you'll notice when I weeded mine, some of the little backing stayed into place. Don't worry about that part of it because it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't have any of the ink in it. So weeding this was what I call a challenge. So what we're going to do once this is heated up and this is on, we are just going to place these on top and we're going to iron them onto the glitter. And what happens, the Infusible ink adheres to the glitter iron on, and then it shows through like I showed you on the other shirt. So on this one, you'll see all the different colors. That's the same material that I used here. So the yellow one will bring it up as a nice, brilliant piece. Now it's not infusing into the shirt, it's infusing into the other iron-on that I had, but it's a good way to use some of the Infusible things and it comes out beautifully. So that gives you some ideas of different things that you can do with your markers. Now I just heard my beep, so I'll be able to bring this back over here. And we put that close to the bottom so I know where it is. And then we go for 15 seconds. Get my tray out of the way. There we go. And I'll just put my little C here. It doesn't take long before it's going to on. This one is pretty fast with the heat. And then it's going to beep. And then I'm going to check it to make sure that it's in place. Take this off. You're supposed to let it cool, but I am going to just see if it is in place, and it is. There we go. Now I have another sticky piece of paper I can grab onto for later. Okay, so this is still pretty warm. Now I'm going to have to change my temperature here to, the next one is 385 for 40 seconds. So I'm just going to move it up, 385, 6, and 40 seconds. Okay, we're going to let that heat up while we go through the next process. Sorry for the little bits here and there. We're okay so far? Thanks for clarifying the tiny bits of backing paper that sometimes get left behind. Always a bit worried about them. Does it make sense? Pretty. Do the iron on first, then the infusible. Doesn't that? Okay. Not too sure what the question was because it wasn't completed. So I'm just taking a look. So now our next little bit, and of course I have my little hedgehog here with my tape and paper. I'm going to need some scissors because I want to trim around these so they don't interfere with each other when I put them in place. All right, I guess I'll put the pink one at top. What we're going to do is just get that over top close as possible. I'm just going to make sure I don't move it too much. There we are. We're ready on that one. Okay, so I'm just going to put my little tape here, and I put one at the bottom as well. All right, got one in place. This is these ones down here. This is a yellow one. Well, maybe I'll put the yellow right here. Work my way around. Get the claws as close as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, there's two in place. It's the overlap that I worry about more than anything. It's a nice little pattern one. So maybe I'll just go down here to the next one. I find that the backing of these doesn't stick too well, so I just have to use the heat tape to make sure nothing is going to be out of place. Two more to go. While I'm doing the cutting, I have the beautiful pair of scissors that was in the sewing kit that Cricut had. I see it's no longer available. I was really disappointed. I've been using those scissors for a long time. I had a couple of kits with it, and wow, they were incredible. That's these scissors, the bigger ones. The smaller ones that you get with your kit, they work just as well. They are beautiful scissors. I'm just hoping they'll bring them back at some point in time. All right, last one here. move that. Nope. My hedgehog out of the way. Now, it doesn't matter if that comes up because I'm going to be putting that paper back down. Let me just bring this up a bit so it's easier for us to see. So now I have my Infusible ink sheets, transfer sheets, all on top of that glitter iron-on. All right, proof in the pudding. You can see it through here. Move it up a bit so I can see where that is. Let's grab my heat press over here. I don't know why this thing wants to. Okay, so let's get that started. That's 40 seconds and we will see exactly what we're going to end up with. I need a bigger working area. That's what I need. Getting closer. Get rid of all these extra little bits of paper before I find them attached somewhere. One little tip I have as well as I'm working through this, I can end up little scraps like this. I have this bucket that I keep on my desk just for putting pieces that can't be recycled or I'm not going to use again. That works extremely well. Looks like we are finished. Let me just move this over. And of course, I'm going to take the sheet off. Now, I always want to get in there and get it off right away. That's just me. Look at this. Isn't that incredible? So that's a nice little hack that you can use. And of course, you can use, if you have the shape like this, of course, you can draw on it and do the same thing with your Infusible thing. So you can go right on top of other parts and pieces, and that glitter is going to come up and show right through. If I used a white, it would show up even more. But I used what I had in place. So that is a little tip and trick for you. I hope you're going to be able to do that for yourself. All right, let's go back over here, to our PowerPoint. So I took you through a lot of stuff here. And of course, I have it all written down, except this last little hack is not in the book. But that book is yours to keep, of course, and no issues. Now, let's see if we have any questions. Tika, do you see any questions?
Did you answer Stephanie's already?
I'm not sure, Sean. Do you cut the other patterns out of Infusible ink sheets already made, or did you print out the designs on them? I cut this one that I just did. I cut it out of sheets I already had. But you could do the same thing on laser paper, believe it or not. It's a little harder to match up if they're not individual little things cut out, but you could, of course, do the print out side on laser paper, color in your own design, sort of cut around them and put them on top of the same glitter like I did, and be able to do it that way. Jackie, never thought of doing the hack. Thank you so much. Love the little hacks you give us. Okay, she's showing a hack to use a specific pattern print. Colored shirts. Yeah, white shirts, it won't make any difference because you can put the pattern right on, unless, of course, you want the glitter part of it. But for a darker shirt, this works extremely well. And, of course, you can buy the dark transfer sheets at places like Michael's where you can just print on it and then just put it on the shirt. That's one way to do it. But these, when you start working with the shirts, like this, you can, the possibilities are amazing because, you can have iron-on that's pure white and then just put the design on top of it and it will pop a lot better. I used glitter, so it was just, you could see it a lot better from what it was. I could have left one of these without it. But, I used a simple floral design, but as you can see, you can use all kinds of different things for this. All right, so we went through our manual here, which you'll get in a second. Sublimation with a printer, infusible inks, pens and sheets and markers and spray for the cotton, and of course there's sublimation on wood and metal. There's just so many different things. Now, we've just covered the tip because as you read through what Alice has had to say too, she has some other ideas that we can use, of course. There's different brands. I use the Sizzix markers that I have. I use my infusible pens. I have tons of those because I kept buying the mystery boxes and I ended up with a ton of them. Let's see what else. It diffuses into the glitter vinyl. Yes, it does. Cut patterns up, infusible shakes already. I just want to make sure I get everything here. Scrolling through. Can you scroll through as well just to make sure I answer everything? Cotton, you can always DTF transfers. Yes, I've talked about those papers you can buy. Downloading file SVG onto the canvas in pieces group, but no whole flower. Upload the PNG, remove the background, upload a single layer. Okay. I think I've got them all. I don't see any others. I think I answered Ruth. Polyester, any of the other. Okay, because what I just showed you, that will work on cotton really well because HTV will go on any kind of material. It will stick. The spray for me is a game changer as well because then you're able to use those infusible ink transfers and things on cotton. But this is a way to do, of course, the infusible inks on top of an HTV, which makes it pop. Because April Pack is beautiful. Okay. Is there a PDF that you have for us? Yes, there is, Alice, and I'll give it to you in just a second. Got so many things open here. All right. That was easy sublimation. Next week, of course, we're going to how to use ephemera. We have lots of ideas for that. You may have a few as well. Remember, all these topics came from you. We took the list. People gave us suggestions. We put them in the order. And of course, everything is a question that somebody had. And speaking of digital papers, here is the April one. And I love it. I love the teacup. I'm in love with that teacup. I don't know what it is, but I just fell in love with it, with all the different things. Now, if you grab your digital paper kit, if you don't already have one, you are going to be able to get the March one as well, because that's going to be available for the next few days until Tika takes it down, and April's the only thing on there. So now's the time to grab it. At the beginning of the month is always the time to grab it. You will be grandfathered into our $19 per year. That's less than $2 a month. And you get these digital kits with a project and all these beautiful papers to work with. They are so incredibly gorgeous. I just got a sneak preview of July. Oh my God, you are going to love that one as well. When it comes to the 1st of May, the price is going up to $29 for the year. I know it's still not that much. It's just over $2 a month, but right now it's under $2 and we can all save. I know exactly. So if you're in at the $19, you stay there on an ongoing basis until this no longer becomes available. So you get it for $19 for life. If you wait till after May 1st, and I know it's a month away, but people do forget, then you're going to end up with the $29. So make sure you grab yours while we can. Thank you, Jeanette. The kits are amazing. Thank you. We'll start and rewatch later. All right, here's that something for you. That's the book that I showed you. And it is, I don't know, 14, 18 pages. And we mentioned the digital kits on the last page, just in case you forget. But it has all your tips for success. It has everything in there. You are going to love this little book that we created for you for this webinar. So make sure you grab yours. It's just easy sublimation. It should be an automatic download as it's a PDF file. So you should be able to grab it. That happens when I don't drink a lot of water. All right. Any further questions? All right. I hope to see everybody back here next week when we're playing around with ephemera. And I see everybody's really giving you some praise, Tika, for those beautiful digital papers, so worth the price. Can you imagine it's less than buying me a coffee and a donut at the coffee shop.
I think the coffee and the donut's more expensive.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, you get our labor of love, I call it, and we get really excited. Well, actually, Tika was so excited about July. I got that sneak preview. Oh my God, that is incredible. I thought June and May were so incredible, but now I've seen July. We are way ahead of the curve. So I hope you have that. Now, I just want to remind you that next week is the ephemera, and then our registration for our April workshop will open on the 9th. I believe it's the 9th, Tika, 10 days ahead. Yes,
Yeah.
the 9th of April, it'll be open for registration. So just to let you know that as well.
And our workshop for the month of April is all about junk journal inserts.
And you can use them in cards or anything else. It doesn't have to be just junk journals. I use a lot of the stuff that we made in those for other things. It's like things like hidden paper clips. There's about 7 or 8 different ways to do hidden paper clips you're going to love. So anyways, that's the workshop. Can I use the digital papers on things? Yeah, absolutely, Nene. Absolutely. Once you buy into that, you can use them any way you want. You just can't sell the papers themselves, but you can use them for anything that you want. You can make cards with them, sell, and you're going to love it. What are junk journals? That is a loaded question. Tika, you're going to have to answer this one. This seems to be a fad with a lot of stuff that goes in these. These are so creative. I can't believe it.
It's a long question. Generally, it's just a book made out of different kinds of papers that you make interesting tucks and flaps in and stick in your ephemera. That's the very, very bare bones short answer.
And we'll get more into that. So, Jackie, you'll get into the world here a little bit. We don't specialize in junk journals, but we come up with these inserts and different things that work using the digital papers, of course, and you will absolutely love everything in there as well. So thank you, everyone. I see that we are about 3 minutes over right now, and we'll see you all next week for the ephemera. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.